Jai Hind to all. I'm SAURABH Tiwari and today we are going to discuss what is fire safety. So today's topic is fire safety. So without wasting time, let's start. What is fire? The first topic that we will be covering, the second one that we'll be covering will be methods to extinguish fire, the third one classification of fire, types of fire extinguisher, anatomy, safety guidelines, firefighting decision and fire survey reports. These all topics would be covered in these slides. So the first thing is, what is fire triangle? We know that fire can only be produced when there are three important components, that is oxygen, heat and fuel. Because of these three the fire exists. So when these three are together we call it as fire triangle. So you can understand from here that if somewhere there is a fire, the reason behind it could be oxygen, heat and fuel. If you remove any one of these, the triangle is broken and the fire is extinguished. But after later, a little bit more into discovery, it was noticed that if I put oxygen, heat and fuel separately but not mixing with each other, then the fire will not happen. This led to the discovery of the fourth item, that is chain of reaction. Means not just the presence of these three items would be sufficient, but also the chain reaction of these three will lead to fire. Now we are discussing ways to extinguish fire. So we discussed before three items: oxygen, heat and fuel. Based on the removal of these three, we will be discussing about the methods to extinguish. Now the first thing is by cooling. Cooling directly means removing heat. The second one is starvation, by removing adjacent material, that is fuel. And the last one is smothering, by cutting off air supply. And one more is there, just like in tetrahedron we discussed about the chain reaction. So what we can add here, that breaking chain is also a type or a way to extinguish fire, which is not mentioned here but you can understand. Now let's see the classification of fire according to the latest IS specifications given in 15683. So the first one is class A. Class A means all the solid materials, wood, paper, rubber, fabrics, they were classified in solid. The one way which you can remember is the largest amount of material in this whole earth is found to be solid, so they classified solid in class A. Then the second most type of material available in the earth is liquid, and the third one is gas, and the third one are gases. So basically here it is given flammable liquids and gases in one, but actually according to Indian specifications here it would be gases. And class D will be combustible metal alloys, and class K will be fires in cooking appliances. So you can see the type of extinguishers we can use for each type of fire. For the first one we are using water and dry powder halon. For the second one we are using carbon dioxide, dry powder halon. Third one CO2, dry powder halon. But according to Indian standards, during electrical fire we do not classify it into a different group. What we do is we remove this electrical supply and then we treat it either as A, B or C, that is solid, liquid or gas, or if it is related to kitchen fire or a metal fire. So you can see the symbol. The important thing to be noticed is that the class A is represented in a triangle colored green, B in a square, C in a circle, D as a star and K as a hexagon. Now what to do to prevent fires. So we'll be discussing class to class. For class A fire, what we can do is we can keep storage and working areas free of trash. Means the dust should not be there, because of dust what happens sometimes, dust explosion kind of things can happen. So try to keep bring about a good habit of housekeeping. Good housekeeping practice reduce the chance of general fire. Place oily racks in containers, and no smoking is to be strictly adhered. Means there should be no smoking, because of smoking, what happens that solid catches fire quickly. Now for class B, means here I am covering B and C together as inflammable liquid and gases. So basically the first point says don't refill gasoline powdered equipment in a confined space. Means don't put them in a confined space in presence of open flame, because at that particular place what can happen, a quick reaction can be there, and especially the confined case is all total a different case of fire where you can't ventilate the smoke and everything, so it becomes really difficult at that particular place. Keep a flammable liquid stored in a tightly closed container. Use flammable liquids only in well ventilated areas. Never use mobile phones at fuel stations. It is highly recommended not to use mobile phones at any petrol pump or fuel station. What to do in type of electrical fires is, first of all, turn off the electrical supply. How can you turn off the electrical supply? Never install a fuse rated higher than than specified for the circuit. Means whatever fuse, whatever the criteria is given for the particular circuit, only use that kind of fuse. When you use high fuse, what happens, it tends to ignore the lower short circuiting, so there are high chances of not detecting a fire or a spark in the electrical circuits. Investigate any appliance or electrical equipment that smells strange. Unusual odors can be the first sign. See, smell and sound are also an important criteria to determine what it is in fire. And the utility of lights should always have some type of wire guard over them. Switch off electrical appliances when not in use. So these are the important criteria related to electrical fires which we can take care of. They are very basic and important ones. So moving on to next. Class C, please do not use power plugs than their ratings. It's simply given that overloading at a particular circuit and something of that sort can lead to fire, as you can see here. The kind of damage it has done. So don't use the power plugs more than their ratings. Now, to prevent fires of flammable materials, what to do to prevent fire of flammable materials? See, knowledge of the properties of metal and using good judgment will assist you. So that's why the MSDS is used. You should know about the chemicals, and you should know about the metals, their properties, what kind of properties enhances the fire, and what kind of property can be used to control the fire. So it is very important to you to understand, to have a good understanding of, or a good judgment of the properties of the metals that you are going to extinguish. Store inflammable material away from the working areas. For example, we know that sodium is not kept in open, it is stored in a particular type of containers, because if stored in if kept open, it may react with oxygen present in the atmosphere and catches fire very easily. So you must take care of these points. And now we are going to discuss the type of portable fire extinguishers. So three types of commonly used portable fire extinguishers are the most common use. See, basically AFF, DCP and CO2 and the water. Water is one of the most important, but actually why it is not mentioned here, because it is very much common. So you must take water also there. So these four types of things are very important. AFF is also a fluorine related compound. It is a mixture of fluorine and water. DCP is also ammonium powder, and CO2, you all know what it is. So let's see where they can be. Types of portable fire extinguishers. So you can see the images here: CO2, AFF, DCP, DCP-BC type, and ABC pressure type. You must see the pictures so that you can somehow, if are going in a mall, can easily detect which type of extinguishers they are using at what place. It will increase your observation skills. Now let's study about the parts of the extinguisher. See, this is the extinguisher. So first of all, what do you see? Let's talk about the external parts first. So basically it is a discharge lever. Lever is a thing which is used to push or pull something. So it is basically pushing the lever with the carrying handles, and there is a discharge locking pin, safety pin, and pressure gauge is there. Let me show you again. Pressure gauge. This is pressure gauge. Pressure gauge is used for multiple purpose. First of all, it shows the pressure stored in the CO2 extinguisher, but it is also useful during inspection, during testing, and so it has a lot of good role playing into it. One more thing is to be noticed that it is not found on CO2 extinguisher because they are already liquefied, and discharge hose is there, discharging nozzle is there, discharging orifice is there, and let me show you this body. So this is called body, and this is the most important thing is this data plate on which the uses of instructions and quantity used, volume, and every specifications related to IS given in IS standards is informed. So let's see more of an internal part also. So basically you can see that it is a safety pin, nozzle, handles, high pressure gas canister, and dry chemical powder or water, whatever the compound is there. Pressure gauge is already there. So I have a little work for you all. Just a small kind of work. Like you can take the screenshot of this part and tell me like what it is, what are the names given to 1 2 3 4 5 in comment section. What do we call them? And let's see who answers. See how to use portable fire extinguisher. Very simple, but usually very few people know it. So let's check out what is this portable fire extinguisher. See, if you fight a fire, remember the word pass. Yes, you have to pass the information or the knowledge you have to the fire. How can you do that? You have to pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. See, pass full form is pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. So the first one is pull the safety pin out, aim the nozzle or the hose at a particular fire, squeeze the handle, and then sweep the area of the fire. Okay, but what I will say is, if you know and you have practiced or trained, then only use this fire extinguisher. Otherwise, don't use this fire extinguisher. And the first thing is to escape out from fire. And always keep one point in your mind, like whenever you are using this fire extinguisher, try to make sure that your back is towards the door, so that in case the fire becomes uncontrollable, you may run out. So must keep these points in mind and keep yourself trained and informed. Common safety guidelines at labs. So basically for college student it's important, because what happens is the students don't know much about the labs, how to perform in lab. So use your PPE first of all, an important thing. And chemical receive must be checked to ensure that the containers are in good conditions. Container must be in good conditions. Details should be mentioned. A separate sheet should be maintained. Bulk stock must be stored in a separate building. See, these inflammable materials should be stored somewhere away from the residential buildings or where the students are there. Chemicals must be placed indiscriminately at the storage shelf. And let me tell you a few more. Like in the event of accidental breakage or seismic activity, incompatible chemicals that are stored in close proximity can mix to start a fire, hazardous fumes, or even explosions. Okay, so during earthquake or something, the glasses may shatter, the fuel may spill out, and you don't know what can happen in that particular condition. So you must ensure they are closely packed and are in good condition, so that they may held in terms of seismic activities happening around the world. So ensure eye wash and safety shower are operational. If by chance if someone gets contacted to a hazardous chemical and somehow it went to his or her eyes, or he mistakenly takes his hands to over his eyes, so there must be eye washer so that he can quickly wash them off. And if the case is severe, do not forget to take him to a doctor. And ensure proper ventilation of the working area. Sorry, so that even if the fumes are rising, the smoke can be taken out and the impact can be controlled until and unless the brigade arises, 101 arises. Do not work alone in the laboratories. Do not work alone. It's always good to have a backup with you. Do not perform unauthorized experiments. Always perform experiments in the guidance of your teachers. And emergency escape routes must be known. It is a very important criteria. Emergency escape routes are very important. You must have a good learning and good hold over it. No operational portable fire extinguisher. Just now I told you how to use the portable extinguisher using pass. You must know how to use it. And regular or daily mock drills must be conducted in schools and colleges to ensure the safety. See, now it's about firefighting decision criteria. So first of all, whenever, if by chance the fire has occurred, you must know about the emergency procedures and evacuation routes. Know the location of the extinguishers. You must know the location of your extinguisher in your area and how to use them. One more fact is that extinguishers should be placed such that they are easily available. Means they are easily available. They must be placed in that particular manner only. So this is covered. Always sound the alarm regardless of the fire size, because fire can grow and spread at any rate. You don't know how the fire can take its shape. So it's always recommended to sound the alarm regardless of the size, so that the concerned authorities can act upon it. And avoid smoky conditions. Always bend down and be low to the floor during smoke conditions. It will be very helpful to you. Ensure area is evacuated. Do ensure that everyone is out from that particular scene of fire. If you find someone, do not rush to save him, but inform the concerned authority, because your own life safety is also important. And never use lifts to evacuate, because in case of fire, what happens is, usually I told that electrical supply is cut off, so the lifts are not safe measures to use as an exit. Don't attempt to fight unless alarm is sounded. Means you don't attempt to fight the fire if the alarm is sounded. Fire is small and contained. Only fight the fire if it is small, initial stage and contained, and you have a safe egress route. It is very important. Do not fight fire even if it is small, if you don't have an egress route, because sometimes what happens, once the fire is off, but it may again regain and or reignite. So it's always better to have a safe egress sites. Available extinguishers are rated for size and type of fire. In doubt, evacuate. Simple thing. In doubt, every time if you are facing a fire and you have a little doubt in your mind and heart, just do one thing. Just run away, evacuate. Don't think too much about anything else. Just evacuate. Don't attempt to fight unless you are trained. Don't even try to fight the fire unless you are trained and you have full confidence over yourself. It's always better to evacuate. So last point, knowing the survey report. Why we are is like, let me tell you, on an average in India, every year about 25,000 person die due to fire accident. It is a very important criteria, and female accounts for about 66% of the cases. Why they are so much? Because they are working in the kitchen, and usually what happens is the kitchen fire. So it is estimated that about 42 females and 19 males die every year in India due to fire accident. Now you can calculate how big it would be have been to know that so many people are being killed every day. So in month it would be about 1800 or something. So it is a big number for a country like India. According to losses reported by Indian insurance companies, 45 means half of the claims are not for anything else, but they are due to fire losses. So you can estimate, and if you want to know it about in terms of finance, it is about nearly 1,000 crores are lost every year due to fire. About, even if we talk specifically about Mumbai, what happens is, in Mumbai 75% of the fire related incident occur due to short circuit. Short circuit and cylinder blast are few of the biggest reason. They are the biggest reason. So I would say that we must take care about all these points and must ensure that yes, we all are safe. Do share these PDFs with even to the people who don't know or are not in fire community, because it can be really useful to them at the point of fire. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you will all like it, and share it, like it, subscribe it. Thank you.